what's up, baby?
Have fun, guys.
Believe this shit. What up, baby?
The world is changing. Over the past 2 years, thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, the way we work has changed. More people than ever before in history are working remotely, and oftentimes employees don't even live in the same state or country as their employer. The way we communicate has changed. With cell phones, social media, and the internet, we are connected all the time. It's not hard to stay in touch with people you may know from all over the world. With all these different changes happening all around us, it's no surprise that the way we date has changed, especially with professional athletes. Now, more than ever, professional athletes are choosing to date non-black women. But why? Stay tuned to this video to figure out why. Male professional athletes, no matter what the sport, have always had a lot of women around them. That's a fact that's been true since there was professional sports on TV. And if there were pictures and videos of ancient Olympic athletes, gladiators in the arena, or medieval knights in tournaments, it's a safe bet that all those men had plenty of women to choose from. But for most of history, those athletes choose to date women from their own race, until now. Before we get too deep into it, it's not the case for all athletes. Magic Johnson and his wife Cookie are both black and have been together since high school. LeBron James and his wife Savannah are also high school sweethearts who have been together for a long time. Another famous couple that are both black and have been together for a long time are Steph Curry and his wife Aisha. So some black athletes are still choosing to be with black women. But more and more, it seems this is becoming the exception to the rule. We can't talk about athletes picking non-black women without mentioning the Kardashians. Whether you hate them or love them, they've had a major impact on who athletes date in our modern world. Women all over the world strive to look and act like them and get plastic surgery to emulate their look, and it's working. Before her whirlwind of a marriage to Kanye West, Kim was married to then NBA player Chris Humphries before their marriage was annulled and she married Kanye. Khloe Kardashian has been in a very public, very toxic, on-again, off-again relationship with Cleveland Cavaliers forward Tristan Thompson. For years, they have been tabloid fodder for all their baby mama drama and his inability to remain faithful to her. There's almost a new story between them coming out every week. He's in Mykonos with some girl, or she's raising the kids alone, and then they're done and it's over, and then a week later he's on an episode of The Kardashians and all is well again. It's a real roller coaster. And of course, we can't talk about Kardashians dating athletes without mentioning Kendall Jenner. Currently, it's speculated that she is back with her on-again, off-again NBA boyfriend, Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. Over the years, she's also been linked with Jordan Clarkson, Blake Griffin, Kyle Kuzma, D'Angelo Russell, and Ben Simmons. Unfortunately for all those dudes, it seems like Kendall is a curse, because after dating her, all of their careers in the NBA stalled. Although Booker may be the exception to this rule, after he recently signed a 4-year, $224 million Supermax contract with the Phoenix Suns. At least if it doesn't work out with Kendall, he won't be hurting for money. But all this still begs the question, why? Why invite all this drama into your life? One reason is that athletes are famous, and they like being around other famous people. People who understand what it means to be in the spotlight at all times. A lot of current professional athletes have been famous for a long time. Remember how I said the world is changing? Well, that's true for athletics on the high school and even middle school level as well. These kids have been playing for the schools and AAU teams for decades, making a name for themselves by the time they're young teenagers. They post pictures and videos of their game all over social media, and that leads to a certain level of fame for these young men. Once they have that, inevitably, so do the women. And a lot of times, the women in these circles are not black, so at a young age, they become accustomed to a certain kind of woman, and as they grow older, that's what they want once they've made a lot of money in their professional sport of choice. A lot of these young black athletes also get chosen to leave whatever neighborhood they're from to play sports on an elite level in private schools through school vouchers, scholarships, and boosters. These kids get an opportunity to be in social circles they wouldn't normally be a part of. Segregation is something we often think of as something that was a big problem back in the 1960s during the Civil Rights era, but it is still a very clear and persistent problem today. And if you're a young African American who primarily has only been raised around other African Americans and then suddenly thrust into the very white world of private schools, Picture Will Smith in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You'd want to try out something new as well. Social media also plays a huge role in athletes choosing non-black women. While we may have made a lot of progress over the years, most of the top models and actresses are still white. With the creation of social media, pretty much anybody can become a supermodel. And with these athletes being on social media all the time, these people tend to find each other. As a top athlete, you want a top woman to be by your side, someone who finds it important to stay in shape, to be active on social media, and to build your own brand. A lot of times, it is mutually beneficial financially for these athletes and non-black women to be together because they make money off of all the publicity. It drives more people to their social media accounts, and with that added attention, brands come in who want these athletes and women to sponsor their products and become brand ambassadors. Cha-ching! In a more historical context, it wasn't all that long ago that human beings of different races legally could not date each other. There are numerous horrible stories of black men in the South being murdered and lynched for dating, or sometimes just talking to a white woman. And if you were a white woman who fell in love with a black man, you can expect to be shunned from your family and social circles forever. Dating across races was just flat out dangerous. Forget about taking pictures and posting them all over the internet for the world to see. You didn't even want to be caught outside dating someone outside of your race at a local restaurant. Some of these social barriers to dating outside your race still exist, but they are no longer anywhere near as dangerous as they once were. Dating outside your race is now commonplace and accepted all over this country, and without those barriers, people are more likely to try and date someone who doesn't necessarily look like them. In our modern world, things are changing all the time, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, and it's not always easy to see which is which until you have the benefit of hindsight and its 20/20 vision to really know what's what. One thing that we do know for sure is the way we date has changed, especially for top athletes. Whether they want to choose non-black women simply because it's something different, because they want someone as famous as them, or because they finally don't have to worry about being judged for dating someone outside their race, these athletes in 2022 are a part of a historical moment where they are choosing non-black women now more than ever. Thanks for watching this video.